Okay, hi guys. This is Jim's Tips and Tricks again, and I thought I'd just give you a little trick. You see the air filter scoop that I've got behind me at the moment. This is the standard gooseneck or duckhead scoop that you can have on the cars when you're out in the desert. Now, this particular type scoop the air in quite well, and if you've got a normally aspirated engine, it will make a difference much more than it does with the turbo. But they work well, they do push the air in, and they do separate the dust from the ground and so forth because it's up higher. But one of the tricks that these units are, one of the bad things is that if you're travelling with a group of vehicles or in a very dusty area, this thing has a tendency to shovel an awful lot of dust into your air filter, and you have to keep cleaning your air filter out. And it's a bit of a pain when you're out in the middle of nowhere doing, the canning or something like that, because you're constantly shoveling dust in from the vehicle in front of you. And most people nowadays have a tendency not to leave enough of a gap for the dust to move off the road before they follow. So they seem to follow a little bit too close, and that's another story again. But what I do is, what I've got here is, this is a different type of air filter, right? This is one with a separation bowl on it, and it creates a turbulence inside the bowl. Now, one of the things I do like about this unit has been used. It was used in the Simpson last year when I was up there, and this is one of the reasons I like it. It has a little base here which causes turbulence and makes the air circulate inside the drum, and this hasn't been cleaned since I got back from my last trip, and what happens is it stirs all the dust up and puts it in here. Now, it doesn't take all the dust out, but it does take a lot of it out. And if you're going in a group of vehicles, I would consider getting one of these. Look, that's what's in the unit. Now, normally when I'm on the road, I tip this out every couple of days. So that's the dirt that it's picked up, and you can see it's red soil, so you know it's from the outback. So have a look at one of these units. They're not a bad little unit. I have no idea what are the brand names and so forth on these things, but they're fairly easy to pull apart and reassemble. As you can see, it's fairly easy to put back together again. You whack the wing nut back on the top here, screw it down. I have been known to take this with me on a trip. I won't be taking it on this trip at the Maralinga, because I don't think I need it. There's something like that much dirt road I'll be travelling on. But I've taken this one with me and had it in the back of the car, and I use this ramjet when I'm on the highway because it helps to cut down the fuel consumption. It also gives you a bit more grunt. And once I get into the desert, into the dust and so forth, I swap over and put this one on. Both have their problems and both have their advantages. The old gooseneck one there is you can put a sock over the top. You can buy those expensive things and put them over the top if you want to. I've used foam rubber over the top of them, and I spray them with that pure and simple stuff which keeps the frying pan stuff from sticking in the frying pan. I spray the foam rubber with that stuff and put it on there, and that has a tendency not to have the dust stick to it, but it does separate the dust a bit. But this unit works better than that one does with the scoop on it, with the sock on it. So there you go, guys. There's another trip and tricks from Jim, and I'll be off soon to the outback. I will be going up to Maralinga this year, and I'll be in the Gora Ranges in National Park in South Australia for a little bit. I'll cut down to Fowler's Bay, and there's a grave down there from a very little known about the explorer, and I'll be going down there to have a look at his grave and give you a bit of a story on him. From there I'll be travelling up into Maralinga. I'll be stopping at a couple of blowholes and so forth on the way up, and I'll try to do a bit of a demonstration of the blowholes when we're 100 kilometres inland, which is quite fascinating to see. Then up into Maralinga, and I'll go on the tour with the Aboriginals and have a look and hear the stories about Maralinga and what's happened up there, and how badly the governments of both England and Australia have treated our Aboriginals and also our Australian citizens. They've treated us all very bad and deceived us very bad about that nuclear explosions up there and the aftercourse. There were a massive amount of dirty experiments after that which weren't publicised that much, and when I'm up there I'll have a bit of a talk about them as well. On the way back down I'll be visiting Daisy Bates's memorial. I'll be coming down the transcontinental train line, and I'll have a look at the point where the memorial's set up, or joining of the train line from the east to west. I'll travel down the train line down to Cook. I've always wanted to go to Cook, and I've never had a chance to drop in. It's just a couple of k's off the side to go into Cook, and Cook's got a wonderful cemetery down there, and I'll be there. And also at Oldie I'll be doing a bit of a talk about some of the history about the place. I'll do a couple of short videos on Oldie. I'll be camped there for a couple of days, and from Cook I'll head down to the coast and go down and do some whale watching. Probably go across to Eucla and go down to the telegraph station, and then I'll turn and start coming back home. And on the way home I'll probably drop in at the Pyong, always get that mucked up, where the windmill farm is, and have a look at all the old windmills which bring back a lot of memories for me as a child. And then I'll be wandering back home again. Now this trip's going to be quite interesting. I'm taking my wife. My wife's going with me this year. I don't know what got into her. She decided to go with me, and instead of me using the swag or the rooftop camper because she doesn't like climbing up to the roof, I bought myself one of those 2-minute tents that you just pull them out of the bag, lay them out on the ground and just stand them straight up, and they're up. If there's wind about, you pick them down of course, and at night the next day you just put them down, put them away. And also you guys will have a bit of a laugh. I brought one of these portable toilets with me, and that'll be going out, and I'll be testing that in the field. It's a King's portable toilet, and I will be testing, and I'll give a talk about what I think about it after I've got home. The units are fairly simple, they're not that expensive nowadays, and I think all you guys know my how to crap in the outback, and I hope that you've all watched it and all learnt by it. And we might do a couple of ones on the same style on this trip about the nuclear waste dump that the government want to make out in the outback. Anyway, this is Jim, and I'll go cheers and cheers for now, and hope to catch you out in the track. And all the best of travelling in the outback. It is a great place. Get out and see it while you can. Cheers.